At his mother's solemn funeral, the son was full of profanity.
Shut up, fucking pedophile!
This is undoubtedly a desecration of the deceased, but the father and stepmother do not care. The priest continues to read the eulogy to remember the deceased, while Vincent is more and more excessive. The words in his mouth are more and more difficult to hear. The memorial service was forced to stop, but no one on the scene feel angry. Everyone looks at him instead, all the eyes of pity. Vince ran out of the auditorium in shame. What had just happened was not intentional. It was only because he had a disease, Tourette's, where his body and speech were mostly not his own, because of which his parents divorced. And now it was the same disease that had ruined his last goodbye to his mother. Vince wanted to fulfill his mother's last wish and scatter her ashes into the sea with his own hands. But his father disagreed and insisted on sending Vince to a sanatorium because in his father's mind, there was no difference between him and an invalid with the disease.
I'm not as helpless as you think.
You want to go to the ocean? You can't even get to 7-Eleven.
Fuck you.
Be packed and ready to go in 20 minutes.
I am not going into a hospital!
It's not a hospital. It's an experimental treatment center.
Vince still got into his father's car, watched through the rearview mirror as his father kissed his stepmother goodbye, and Vince was saddened that the place in his father's arms should have been his mother's. When he arrived at the sanatorium, his father put on the airs of a councilman and was so perfunctory in his attitude toward Vince's treatment that the dean unceremoniously asked his father to leave. And that made Vince's antipathy towards the place diminish by 1 point, and he even agreed to let the dean sit next to him. But then the dean asked him a question. What would you like to do the most if you were able to get a remission from your illness?
Graduate from high school. Maybe go to college.
Then let's try this.